Welcome back, dear viewers, to another chilling episode of Dr. Darkness. If you're a fan of the macabre and the unexplained, you've come to the right place. Today, we dive into a story so terrifying, it has left a permanent scar on the minds of those who lived through it. Grab your blankets, turn off the lights, and prepare yourself for the tale of the haunted Waverly Hills Sanatorium. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, located in Louisville, Kentucky, was originally opened in 1910 as a hospital for tuberculosis patients. However, its history took a darker turn, leading to countless stories of ghostly apparitions, eerie sounds, and a sense of dread that hangs over the place to this very day. But what happened within these walls that gave rise to such terrifying tales? Let's find out. The early 20th century was a time of great medical struggle. Tuberculosis, also known as the White Plague, was ravaging the population, and hospitals like Waverly Hills were constructed to contain and treat the infected. At its peak, the sanatorium could house over 400 patients, providing what little care was available at the time. Waverly Hills was a place of both hope and despair. For many, it was a last resort, a place where they came to either recover or die. The treatments were rudimentary, often brutal by today's standards. Patients underwent painful procedures like pneumothorax, where the lungs were deliberately collapsed to rest, and thoracoplasty, where ribs were removed to allow the lungs to expand. But as the disease continued to claim lives, the atmosphere at Waverly Hills began to change. Desperation and death became the norm, and the very air seemed to grow heavier with each passing day. It wasn't long before the first whispers of strange occurrences began to surface. Staff reported hearing footsteps echoing through empty hallways, disembodied voices calling out in the night, and shadowy figures lurking at the edge of their vision. At first, these were dismissed as the imaginations of overworked and stressed individuals. But soon, the incidents became harder to ignore. One of the earliest and most unsettling reports came from a nurse who worked the night shift. She often felt as though she was being followed, the sound of footsteps mirroring her own. One night, she turned a corner and saw a shadowy figure at the end of the hallway. As she approached, the figure vanished into thin air. These occurrences were just the beginning. Over time, more and more people started experiencing things they couldn't explain. It was as if the building itself was alive, watching and waiting. As the years went by, the supernatural activity at Waverly Hills escalated. Patients and staff alike reported seeing apparitions of former patients, often appearing in the same locations where they had died. The most infamous of these was the sighting of Mary Hillenberg, a nurse who allegedly took her own life in room 502. According to the legend, Mary was found hanging in room 502, driven to despair by the overwhelming death and suffering around her. To this day, many claim to have seen her spirit wandering the halls, her presence accompanied by an intense feeling of sadness and cold. Paranormal investigators who have visited Waverly Hills report high levels of electromagnetic activity in room 502. Some have captured chilling EVP recordings, featuring voices pleading for help or asking why they were abandoned. But Mary is not the only restless spirit said to inhabit the sanatorium. The building's infamous death tunnel or body chute is another hotspot for ghostly encounters. The death tunnel was used to discreetly transport the bodies of deceased patients out of the hospital to avoid alarming the other patients. It is said that the tunnel echoes with the groans and cries of those who perished within Waverly's walls. Visitors have reported hearing phantom footsteps, feeling sudden drops in temperature, and seeing fleeting shadows out of the corner of their eyes. One particularly harrowing account describes a visitor being pushed by an unseen force while exploring the tunnel. The activity at Waverly Hills reached a terrifying climax in the 1940s. Reports of violent poltergeist activity became more frequent. Objects were thrown across rooms, doors slammed shut on their own, and unseen hands would touch or grab unsuspecting individuals. One of the most chilling incidents involved a group of nurses who were conducting their nightly rounds. As they walked through the dimly lit hallways, they suddenly felt a cold breeze sweep past them. Moments later, one of the nurses was violently pushed against the wall by an unseen force. She described the sensation as if icy hands were gripping her tightly. This type of activity is often associated with a powerful, malevolent presence. It's possible that the intense suffering and death at Waverly Hills created a kind of energy that some believe can give rise to such phenomena. The fact that multiple people experienced the same thing at the same time adds a level of credibility to these accounts. Even the doctors were not immune to these encounters. One doctor reported seeing the ghostly figure of a former patient standing in his office, staring at him with hollow eyes. When he tried to approach, the figure vanished, leaving behind an icy chill in the air. As these terrifying events continued, a sense of dread and fear permeated the sanatorium. People began to believe that the very building itself was cursed, haunted by the souls of those who had suffered and died within its walls. After decades of serving as a tuberculosis hospital, Waverly Hills Sanatorium closed its doors in 1961. The building lay abandoned for years, its dark reputation growing with each passing year. It became a magnet for thrill seekers and paranormal investigators, all hoping to catch a glimpse of the otherworldly. The stories of ghostly apparitions, strange noises, and inexplicable events continued to emerge. Those who ventured into the building often left with their own tales of terror. One visitor described feeling an overwhelming sense of despair and sadness as they walked through the empty halls, while another claimed to have seen a shadowy figure following them. Waverly Hills has become one of the most infamous haunted locations in the United States. Its history of suffering and death has left an indelible mark, and the stories that have emerged from there continue to captivate and terrify. Today, Waverly Hills offers ghost tours, allowing people to explore its haunted history firsthand. Visitors have reported a wide range of experiences, from hearing disembodied voices to seeing full-bodied apparitions. The legend of Waverly Hills lives on, a chilling reminder of the horrors that once took place within its walls. The haunting of Waverly Hills has attracted the attention of numerous paranormal investigation teams. Equipped with the latest technology, these teams have captured compelling evidence of supernatural activity. EMF meters have detected unusual spikes in electromagnetic activity, often coinciding with reports of ghostly encounters. Thermal cameras have captured cold spots and unexplained heat signatures, suggesting the presence of entities unseen by the naked eye. One investigation even recorded a full-bodied apparition moving through a hallway, a sight that left the team both excited and unnerved. This is one of the clearest pieces of evidence we've ever captured. There's no explanation for what we're seeing here, and it aligns perfectly with the reports from witnesses over the years. Theories about hauntings like those at Waverly Hills often center on the idea of residual energy. It's believed that intense emotions, such as fear, pain, and despair, can leave an imprint on a location. This energy may then manifest as apparitions or other paranormal phenomena. Some investigators have turned to more spiritual methods, such as seances and spirit boards, in an attempt to communicate with the entities said to haunt Waverly Hills. During one seance, a medium claimed to have made contact with several spirits, including Mary Hillenberg. According to the medium, Mary expressed sorrow for the lives lost and a desire for peace. While the stories and experiences are compelling, it's important to approach them with a critical mind. Many of the phenomena reported can have natural explanations, such as drafts, electromagnetic interference, or psychological factors like suggestibility and pareidolia. Whether one believes in the paranormal or not, the haunting of Waverly Hills Sanatorium continues to be a subject of fascination and fear. Its dark history and the countless reports of supernatural activity make it a place that captures the imagination and stirs the soul. Waverly Hills Sanatorium stands as a monument to the suffering of the past and a beacon for the curious and brave. Its walls have witnessed unspeakable horrors, and its halls echo with the cries of the lost. As we close this chapter on Waverly Hills, remember to keep your mind open and your senses sharp. for who knows what lurks in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the unknown. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more tales of terror. And as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and stay safe.